what do you do when your daughter, your son starts seizing?
I know firsthand what it is to be a mom and feel like, okay, anybody else's kid have this? No.
Yep.
Like how do you keep yourself like sane? Do you do anything to pour into yourself? I spend so much time talking to my clients about the importance of proper nutrition outside of the gym. And the number one area of struggle is not getting enough protein. So Boss and Kevin developed Vita Hustle One superfoods for this very reason. This plant-based blend contains 86 superfood ingredients that support muscle recovery and overall well-being. It's not just about what you do in the gym, it's also about how you fuel your body. So try Vita Hustle One superfood in vanilla bean, dark cocoa, which is my fave, or superfood greens in the popular berry flavor. Use code MEAGAIN for 15% off your first order.
Hey guys, it's me again, your host Dominique, and my girl
Nature.
Today we are here with an incredible guest. She is such a close friend of mine, so I'm blessed. We're both blessed to have her on to discuss caregiving, the rewards and the challenges. She is a mother of a special needs daughter. She is the CEO and founder of Taylen Horton Foundation for kids with Dravet Syndrome and families, offering compassionate care. She is an in-home healthcare aide and a life coach. So we have so much to learn from her today. We cannot wait to get into all of the details with Jenece. What's
Hey, hi. Thanks for having me here. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
It's been fun. It's like being able to go into different topics and just ways that women are living in different lifestyles. It's so cool because people reply back and certain things really resonate with others. So like today, to have you on to discuss not only being a mom, but being a mom of Taylen, right, who has special needs. I want you to get into that whole discussion and like what that's like for you and what your journey has been. So I think your story is going to resonate with so many women. So I'm excited for today's episode. I think it's going to be really heartfelt. But first, before we get into your story, Jenece, our topic today is caregiving, rewarding, but challenging, of course. And the Peanut Gallery wants us to watch a TikTok to spark some conversation.
I have never had a romantic relationship where I was taken care of. I was always the wife, the perfect wife, girlfriend in the kitchen, doing the caregiving, being the loving partner, all the things. I have never gotten an end of the day back rub or foot rub. I have never had a man cook for me. And even when I was sick in a relationship and I would sometimes beg my partner to please bring me something from the fridge, and he would get mad at me and say, I'm playing my video games right now. Like, why are you bothering me with this? And I think that after he left and I was in my 40s, I thought, life is going to be different now. I'll be dating grown-up men. I'm a grown-up. Things are going to be different. But they were never different. And this isn't even something that I really have access to.
Wow. So thank you first and foremost at yl.wolf. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. But that was quite impactful, very powerful. And I think that, Jenece, I'm certain that you can probably relate to a lot of that as being a primary caregiver, but yet not being taken care of necessarily.
Yes, I can. It's actually kind of like
Right,
emotionally kind of put me there for a minute. I think it's just in me. I think I was raised by a mother who just kind of took care of everything, took care of everybody. I'm come from a marriage. My parents are married. They still are married. I think they just celebrated like their close to 50th anniversary. So I came up in a pretty stable home. But my mom just did it all. And I feel like now that I'm a woman and have my own child and my household, I just feel like I just have adopted that attribute. But it sucks because it is kind of like, dang, like,
Where's my foot rub?
is somebody going to cook for me? Is somebody going to make sure like that I'm good? So, but at the same time, like, it is rewarding. I think my passion and now that I'm older and learning my passion, it really is helping people. So I love to do it, but at the same time, you do forget yourself.
So that's the part that is actually interesting, and I think Jenece and I were talking about this another day, is I think as moms, we can all relate to the idea of our whole lives they stop, not end, but they slow down so that we can take care of our children, right? And for me right now, it's the conversation of, it's just a phase, okay? You're just in this phase. Once they get into school, once they grow up, and me having 3 boys, shoot, they're going to grow up and become men, and then it's going to be, I did my job. You and I were talking about having a special needs daughter where forever, this is forever. And it's almost like, of course, Taylen is 17 now, and she's, doing her thing and becoming a woman. But in the same breath, you have that same childlike responsibility. So there's been no rest for you.
No.
There's no end of the light as a typical parent would see. So what is that mentally? What is that like? How does that make you feel? You know what I mean? Like, how do you have to change your mindset on parenting and mothering?
I think that probably is one of the number one things that was difficult for me, learning that Taylen was special needs from the very beginning up until now. As I've matured and just understanding to try to have like a clear mind and be, have clarity and be a positive role model to her and whoever, like friends or whomever, it's just coming to the realization and accepting it. I know the word acceptance is like just so simple, but really accept that everything that I wanted and dreamed that I thought I would have for a child that was normal is different. And it's not that I can't have it, it's just I have to do it in a different way. And I think also understanding, and I'm a little bit more spiritual now that I've these past couple of years, but wait, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I kind of feel like, God gave me this for a purpose and a reason. And, he picked me. He must have thought I was pretty special, so I have to kind of walk around like I got picked to take care of her. Like it's my duty. I'm special because I know he wouldn't give this to just any old body. So thinking like that and moving in that way and understanding that life doesn't end. It's just different. It's just different. And each day I learn more about her. And, Taylen has just, she's overcome so much. And I'm so surprised by the things that she does now to where it's like, whoa, like I don't have to do this anymore, or she is getting it this way. So it's kind of like a day by day thing. But I think just the acceptance and just adapting to what it is, that's how I get by.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to initially, so now we're here, but like, let's journey back to early on, like when you first got her diagnosis. Can you tell everybody what her diagnosis is?
Yes, Taylen, okay, so she was diagnosed at the age of 1. She has Dravet Syndrome. It's very rare. I'm sure people listening probably have never even heard of it, but it's basically a rare form of epilepsy, but it's on the severe end. It's developmentally delays children. I can just say in layman's terms, my doctor told me her brain was built to have seizures. So, yeah, it's that. But so she was diagnosed at 1. But when I had her, I think it was about 3 months, 3 to 4 months. Her dad and I noticed some twitching with her that would kind of be more so like 10 to 20 seconds, and then it would stop. Like we would literally just have her like sitting up in her bouncy or whatever, and I would just notice like her arm would twitch or her leg would twitch, and I would say something to her dad, and he would rub her arm and rub her hand, and it would stop. And I told her doctor, and she really diagnosed it as like, oh, she's just having muscle spasms. That's normal, muscle spasms. Until that one morning, she was twitching, and it kind of became generalized. And her whole body was twitching. Her eyes were fixed. Her lips started getting blue. She had saliva. And it went on and on and on, and he was doing the normal, like, let's just rub this one out.
Yeah.
And she just kept going. And it's really funny because he has to kind of tell me what happened in that moment because I don't remember. But we ended up obviously calling a hospital because he even said, like, it looks like she's having a seizure. And at that frame of mind, I just never thought of seizure. I've never seen one before. I don't even know anyone who's had one. So I was just very, like, detached from what was going on.
Right.
And she was brought into the hospital, and she pretty much seized for maybe 50 minutes. Yeah. But when we got to the hospital, they were like, oh, she's fine, because she had a fever.
Okay.
She had just had her immunization shots, and she had a fever that morning. And they were like, oh, she's fine. This is normal. It's a febrile seizure. It's normal. It's fine. Of course, I completely lost my mind.
Of course you did.
They gave her volume, and she ended up being okay. And we went home with her, and she was fine. But I'll never forget, 1 month exactly to the day, she had another one, but this time no fever. This time no fever. And it lasts long, maybe it was 30, 40 minutes. And at that time, her dad had her. I was working. Ooh. So we had back to the hospital, and yeah, I don't know. That was what, Taylen's 17. That was 17 years ago. No one knew what was going on.
Right.
All they did was just refer me to a neurologist, and they were just giving her anticonvulsant medications, which with Dravet Syndrome, most of them don't work, and they irritate it even more.
Right.
So we had a good 8-9 months of her seizing even more because of the medication she was on. But at that time, the doctors didn't even know what it was.
And so, like, it's like, how do you even deal with that, though?
So, yeah, honestly, to be completely
how are you dealing
honest,
with 30-minute seizures?
To be completely, I was teaching too at the time. Can you imagine? I went back to teaching. Her dad had her at home during the day. It was basically like every 3 to 4 times a week I had to leave work early to meet them at the hospital.
Oh my!
And they settle it down, tweak whatever meds she was on. I mean, there were times on the drive back she seized, so we had to turn around and go back. I mean, it was hell, for better words. It really was hell. Until we met a doctor in Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. His name was Daniel Licht. I'll we'll never forget him. But he kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to test her for this gene mutation strand. It's called Dravet Syndrome. He was like, it's very unknown. A lot of doctors now don't know about it. And he gave her the test, and he's like, she's positive. She tested positive for it. He's like, but the good thing is, there's drugs overseas for her. There's, it's called stiripentol at that time. I think it is called stiripentol. There's a drug that's built for it, so we'll be able to help her. He's like, but I'm telling you, it's a long road. It's a long road, and she's going to be developmentally delayed. And to be honest, at that point, I didn't care about her being developmentally delayed. Right. I just needed something to stop so that we can just live a productive life. It just was I can just say my family really didn't even know Taylen because I was too afraid to leave the house, during those early years. Like, her cousins and things, like, didn't know her didn't do birthday parties because crashed the party, ambulance come. It was like a space where I wanted to keep her safe, and she was just learning to walk, so I didn't want her to fall and seize, so I was always carrying her. And, now that I'm thinking about it, geez, it was a lot. And her dad was just wonderful. I really feel like without him, I don't know. He just kind of was like, it's a part of life. Like, she would have a seizure, and he would be like, all right, let her rest, and then we're going to go. Then we're going to go to the party. And I would be like, no. He'd be like, you're going to handicap her thinking this. Like, if she has this for life, wow, you're going to handicap her. You got to, like, bounce back from this. So by the time we figured out the new drugs, it subsided. It was better. So instead of it being 35 seizures a month, probably even more than that, honestly, it ended up dwindling down to 20.
Jenece, 35 seizures a month? I didn't know that it started this way.
She would literally have, like, one time she had, like, 5 or 6 in a week, and we're talking seizures that last over 30 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
It was horrible.
So for people watching,
yeah,
if they're experiencing something like this with their children, what do you do when your daughter, your son starts seizing? Like what are the signs that you're looking for, and what is it that you're supposed to do, right? Until they get to the hospital.
Yeah. So, a seizure looks very different from a baby and an adult. Mm-hmm. But I think the number one signs would be, eyes fixed eyes, meaning, well, Taylen's goes up to the left, the top left, and it's like a stare, and you can't break it.
Blank stare.
You can't break it. Hey, it's they become unconscious. They can't break it, and then there's so many different seizures now too. So I mean, grand mal is the worst, and that's what Taylen has. It's the full body twitching. It's the keeling over. It's the saliva. It's the blue lips. It's the she'll hold her breath. Her lips will get blue. It's that. But there's some that are petite mal where it's like 60 seconds they just space out and then they're back.
Oh, okay.
So to answer your question, I guess if it's a moment where you can't get their attention, like you're like, hey, it could be one. And obviously jerking, convulsing is probably the number one sign as well too. But yeah.
And then you just let them rest?
I'm gonna say
I'm sorry. I forgot about that. So basically, you don't try to force their limbs to do anything. You just lay them on their side. Oh. And the reason of it being on the side is because they don't have control of their saliva, or they can swallow their tongue, or if they're eating something, you want to try to put them on the side because it will eventually draw to the side and, push out on their own. Because if they're on their back, they'll choke. So you put them on their side. You can put something like a pillow under their head, or it's been times where I'm with Taylen and we're in the middle of the store. I don't have a pillow. So I'll put my leg or my thigh so she can lay on my thigh and you just got to let it happen.
Wow.
You just got to let it happen. And when it stops, that's it. You just, Taylen, when she was younger, she would go right to sleep. But now that she's older and her seizures are now maybe like 20 seconds.
Oh.
So you get through it, and
we get through it. She's able to bounce back. She's very lethargic afterwards, but she may have to sleep it off. I mean, it's been times where we would be out somewhere, and she got to sleep this off because Taylen's taller than me. So we're gonna be in the grocery aisle 5 until she sleeps this off. We need like 10 minutes, and then she can get up and walk. But I can't carry her.
Wow.
I don't have a wheelchair, so. It's bravery. It's bravery.
It's like one step at a time.
As a mom, it's like to handle a child with epilepsy, you got to be brave, and you got to just know at any time. You probably don't realize it, but if I'm with Taylen, I'm looking for the exit. I'm wherever I'm at with her. I'm looking, the nearest exit route if this happens, where I could go, what I could do. It's kind of just like second nature. Like, okay, good. Let me sit here with her, or let me sit on this side. It's almost like like you're putting clothes on in the morning. It's like, it's that. So, yeah.
Second nature now for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, as Taylen grew up and you're figuring out all these different, ways to stop the seizures, et cetera, did you come across anything that was holistic that helped her, even if it's nutrition or anything that you thought, okay, this is going to help her with her seizures?
Yeah. So, along the way, so when Taylen was diagnosed at 1 and the medications were not quite doing it, lessened it, but, I want her to be seizure free. I don't want her to have seizures at all. Yes, we've made a difference, but So Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, I want to shout them out. They are like the best children's hospital. And the doctors, they are just, oh my gosh, amazing. But when she was, I believe, between 1 and 2, we put her on a ketogenic diet. Okay. And I know everyone now does the ketogenic diet to lose weight, but it's basically fueling your body with the content of fat. And as far as the doctors were concerned, they found that having a higher content of fat in her system neurologically helped suppress the seizures. So she had a diet where, butter, oil. I mean, it was gross, but she was 1, and when you're 1, you don't even have food yet, so you don't know that it's gross. So it was a great time to do it. But I remember I had to get a specific weigher and weigh her food and pack her stuff. But it basically was a diet of just like butter, oil, if I can remember correctly, butter, oil, a little bit of protein. She couldn't have any sugar, so it was like her drinks were like a sweet and low, very bland drink. We tried the diet. It did help, but to me, it just wasn't enough. And I felt that, we did it for a couple years too. What I did was like, at this point, it wasn't enough for me to keep it going. I felt she still was having seizures. She might as well enjoy her food.
Right.
So we kind of dwindled her off of that. So we did the diet. Now, currently, she's on, it's called Epidiolex, but it's cannabis oil. But it's not the TH, what is it?
THC, it's CBD.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't have that in it.
Okay.
She doesn't get high.
She's not getting high.
But, that's been known.
So it's like a CBD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
cool.
And she literally takes that now.
And
orally.
how do you feel like it affects her?
So now, Taylen really doesn't have seizures. I remember celebrating that one year. She did go a full year, seizure free, a full year.
Wow.
From what I was just telling you, like, this is life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it's like to be a mom, to have a child that doesn't have this. So
Yeah.
it was very different just for me. But she only got through 1 year. Ever since then, maybe, I think the following year it was like 3.
Okay.
I'm fine with
Okay.
that. Recently she did have one, but it's not like it was. Taylen, she's a woman now, so her hormones are different, growth spurt.
Yeah.
So we had a period where we had to like fix her meds, but she's been fine now. But there's a combination that she's on now where she's good. Like, she's on the CBD oil. She takes 4 medications, but she's definitely on the CBD oil. She takes like 4 mLs of that a day. And it does help.
I bet
That
you,
in
I wonder
combination
if
with the
hormone
other.
therapy for her would help. We've discussed that on the show.
Right, okay.
And it seems like there's so many benefits, and you can really tackle many things. So we should ask Lynn about that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
About that.
It's one of those things, though, with Taylen. I'm willing to try anything. I'm
Yeah.
always open, but she's so sensitive that I don't want to change anything that's working.
Yeah. It's
I
true.
mean, from what I've been through with her, I am not. Her doctor says to me now, she's a doctor here. Oh God, I love her. Her name's Deborah Holder, but and she's the smartest woman I've ever met in my life. But she always says to me, "Any changes?" I'm like, "No, we don't. I don't want to try anything new because
Yeah.
they're right now. 17 years ago, they didn't even know what Dravet Syndrome was. Now, I mean, is so much better. They know what it is. There's different medications out, and there's new things. She's on a newer drug now, Fentanyl, which was Femfem, which was, if you can remember, back in the 80s, it was a weight loss supplement.
Oh my
But I
goodness.
don't know if you guys remember the word Femfem. Yeah. So she's on that now. And so there's different things that are coming out that are so much better for moms that are now having Dravet. But I'm honestly terrified to change anything or to add anything, or it's just kind of like, we're going to take this and ride it until it
Stops working.
stops working.
Well, how are you with
Right.
all of this? Like, how do you
I'm-
keep yourself like sane? Do you do anything to pour into yourself personally?
Okay, so I can't stand using plastic water bottles. Path is the first refillable and 100% recyclable bottled water packaged in a sleek and sturdy aluminum container, which I love. They make it easy for our family to feel good about making a positive impact on the environment, including our kids. Also, their bottles are fully customizable. There's this one particular limited edition Path water bottle featuring the Ninja Turtle characters. My boys absolutely love it. They actually fight over who gets to have it, and it's just a great way to teach them and the next generation the importance of reuse. And you can create your own custom path water bottle for your next event. I was actually just thinking about it. I wish for all of our 3 gender reveals that we were able to have a team girl or team boy water bottle for the party. Of course, it would have been all team boys. But so visit drinkpathwater.com to check out the coolest designs and to create your own today.
I know. To
I
be
mean, I
completely
know
honest, I don't
I
even
was
know
about
how
to
to
say that.
answer that. That's a hard question to answer because I don't know how I do it. I mean, in the midst of it, a divorce, you know, my family is in Philadelphia. I have no family here. Honestly, if I could hear myself, I would be like, yeah, how are you doing it? But I've been like very much more spiritual nowadays. So just praying and getting more connected with God. I have a great friend group here that helps me kind of just like normalize, staying busy. As long as I'm helping someone, like that makes me happy. And honestly, I'm about to be 43 this year. And I used to be kind of like, I
look
can
good,
admit it. I was,
man.
thank you.
Ooh,
Right.
Black don't crack,
Thank
baby.
you. I mean, I can honestly say and admit that I was ashamed of having a child that's different from everyone else. There was years of that. And being embarrassed if she did have a seizure in front of people. Aww. I mean, now if I can cut, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's kind of like, hey, this is Taylen. This is what she has. If you can't handle it, go on
You know where to
outside.
find the door.
That's what I was going to say,
brave.
too.
I really feel like you just got to be brave. You got to be courageous and just be like, because I can't change it. Nope. You know, I cannot change her. I can't change it. If I could, I would. But at the same time, I'm too determined. Like, I'm not going to drive myself crazy over this. I do what I can, and I always say to myself, just do the best you can every day.
Yep.
That helps me sleep at night. Like, I know I did the best I could, and I wake up the next day like, okay.
What's now? What's the
My
tackle
question
he
is,
said?
Jay, like, as looking back in hindsight, right? Let's just talk about the last 17 years. From the diagnosis to now, you've gone through a variety of changes. You've changed careers. You've taken time at home. You've done a move East Coast to West Coast. You got a divorce, and you're in the space now. And we always talk about our me again moments.
Yeah.
Like, through all of this, while still having to mother Tay, right? What were those moments where you said, okay, this is changing and I've got to adapt, or I have to, go with it, evolve with it? Like, do you remember certain moments where you feel like, wow, this is something that's going to be a challenge? Like, what has been your most challenging time in your life, and then how did you overcome it?
Goodness. Since I've been here in LA.
No, I would say just through this course of saying, okay, wow, I have my daughter. It's almost like a success time right now. Like, this is working for her. We've overcome so much. And then you look back and you think, wow, how did I get through this and this? What did I do? How did I overcome?
Oh, that's such a good question. Honestly, I have a praying mother. I have a strong relationship with my mother. My mother is God to me. And I really feel like with every high stress. Okay, so first off, it's a day-to-day thing. I've learned it's a day-to-day thing. You know, you conquer whatever it is that day, and then the next morning you start fresh. You have to. Because I know that if I'm not good, she's not good.
Right.
So I have to be good. I have to make sure I take care of myself. I have to make sure I exercise. I have to make sure I eat better. I have to make sure that I find time with my friends and enjoy my friends. And I have to detach from her. I have to have those days where I just don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like getting out of the bed. And if Tay, you're in an apartment, cool, get in the bed with me. I have to make sure that I do check in on myself. But to be honest, I think when I was married, I really looked to my ex-husband. He was very supportive in understanding hardship and making this life. I never experienced hardship. I never experienced anything I've never even been in the hospital before, to be honest.
Right.
I didn't know. And he was more equipped with handling that. So I got to give him that. I do. I have to give him that. He did help me with that. But now that I'm here on my own, I'm still, as of right now, still living in a moment where I'm working through the hardest parts of my life because I'm living on my own with Taylen for the very first time. So I was with my ex-husband when I first moved out here, and then once we divorced, I had my roommate that was a support, who I love, who's been so helpful with me, and now I'm on my own with her. So I'm literally living in a hard part of my life of just like not even having anybody to talk to. If she has a seizure, it's just me.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, you're good. You're going to be all right, Tay. So,
Does that do you feel isolated? Do you feel a little alone? Like
very much so. Yeah. I mean, very much so. I've been, I grew up with a very supportive mom. She helped me with everything. So I'm living the opposite of what I grew up with. So it's very difficult. It's very hard. But, I know this sounds weird. Like music has really been helpful. Like I play music. I have a good connection like with music, gospel music. I have really good friends that aren't afraid to just have uncomfortable conversations to help me just get through whatever. I don't know, staying busy and just finding the foundation.
Yes.
I've Taylen's foundation I have in her name. I've been able to reach out to other moms that have Dravet Syndrome and having like our own little community and being like the driver's seat of opening the space of being able to, hey, like you're a mom, you're a Dravet mom, Dravet warriors. Like, so I don't feel too much alone. Because when Taylen was younger, I didn't even, was Instagram or Facebook even going on then? Like I had no one. So now I do have like a connection or people that I can just kind of like message or whatever. And work on different ideas to help the moms and help just make us feel like, because it is very hard. I can say this, even now, it's very hard to have my child is the only child that's different from everyone else's child. And I don't have a disability. So, I mean, I wanted to be just as normal as everyone else. So, yeah, like, I think the foundation has really helped me to keep me balanced, just to know I'm not alone. I'm not alone. There's moms that have kids that have Dravet. Dravet is a spectrum, right? And Taylen is actually on as harsh as that was that I told you earlier, Taylen is on the better half of it. I mean, there's children that can't walk, can't talk, like have over 100 a day, have passed away in their sleep. So I look at that and I am really blessed for the way things are now with her. So
now that you've established this community of moms, right, and parents that their kids all have Dravet syndrome or something similar, what do you guys need? What do moms need, right? What personally are you all like relating on?
Yes, and this is why I'm so happy to have the foundation, because I know firsthand what it is to be a mom and feel like, okay, anybody else's kid have this? No. Like, so I've been able to like remember last year you and your family helped me. I did the gifting program where we put like a basket of just goodies and things. I mean, the simplest thing helps. Just to deliver off something in front of their door for moms, just to be like, hey, we're thinking of you. We know what you're going through. I know you had a rough week. I know that, the birthday party was like horrible for you, because one of the triggers for kids with Dravet syndrome is extreme excitability. It puts them right into a seizure. So when you say birthday every year, normal, hey, it's stressful, because it's like 9 times out of 10 are probably going to have a seizure on this birthday party. So, that's what I'm saying. Like having a child like Taylen too is just like the simple things that normal moms do. Is like, it's not that easy for us. Triggers are extreme excitability, it being like a little hot or a little warm outside on a sunny day. Oh, let's go out back and play. We got to stay in the house because she needs the air conditioner, because she's going to seize if we go out back.
So keeping calm element.
Can you imagine a child like having to
be calm,
stay calm?
So this is why it's like your next event is like an aquarium, things that are very like peaceful, like for kids to be in a relaxing environment, right? Like sensory environments that can keep them like their minds relaxed, calm, occupied. Because it is true, especially with all these kids. Don't come around my boys. Mm-hmm. My God.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time Taylen's so much better now, and she's been able to be okay throughout it. But I mean, CVS,
right?
Walmart, Target. Overload centuries. I remember we used to walk in and she would just be right into one. Because just looking at the aisles of high to low, it's just overstimulating. The brain is just overstimulating. And to be honest, till this day, I can't take Taylen into the CVS. I don't know what it is. It's not that she'll have a seizure, but she just cannot like walk straight.
The register is going off.
I don't know what is, and I don't know what it is with CVS. I just cannot take her to CVS. It's the weirdest thing. I can't take her in there.
This is so
I
interesting.
cannot take her in CVS. It's hell. I don't know how else to explain it.
What activities does she love to do?
Taylen, and this is another real reason why I just love her so much. You don't have to do anything. Tay is so happy for everything that she's been through, and you guys see her in there. She is the happiest thing in life. I mean, so easy to please. Taylen loves music. She loves to dance. She loves puzzles. She loves putting things together. She loves painting. I mean, most, this is where I'm like, I'm kind of happy because most kids, like, we want to go to Disney World. And they're, like, mad that they can't go to Disney World. And Tay is like, we're going to go to the pond and look at the turtles out back. Yeah. And she's thrilled.
I love that.
So it's like, I have my perks.
Saving some money, girl.
I'm saving money and I'm saving, like, energy of trying to find the most crafty thing. It's like anything.
The
and
simple
honestly,
life brings her
Taylor's fine
joy.
with just sitting next to me and laying her head on my shoulder and watching TV. She loves it.
Brings you down, right? It's especially, I think, in a time now where society is so like it's never enough. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing is ever enough. Having a reminder in Tay of how simple life can be and how fulfilling those small things is laying on your mom's shoulder, right? Viewing the turtles at the pond and listening to the air and the breeze, taking a walk around. And you guys used to always take a walk around the Calabasas or the little, is that the same pond area?
You remember me telling you?
Oh, girl, yeah.
Oh, I do the Commons. We go to the Commons and we just sit in front of there.
Yeah. That's the stuff that truly, it's like, it's like even with the kids and you can teach moms, even like me and Nature, whoever's listening is, I'm like, yo, get off these tablets with the boys. It's like they're like they just have to see. It's like enjoy nature, okay? I got them a dang teeter-totter outside. I'm like,
I saw
you
that.
guys
It's
remember
cute.
this? Like, those more simpler things in life, and that's the stuff that really matters. And I feel like we do need to get back to that.
We do.
I think we do too. It's way too overcomplicated, way too much stimulation, way too much. There's not enough like joy in the simple things. That's why, like going to the pond and looking at the turtle. My son loves doing like stuff like that. He loves to just like, I don't know what park we went to.
Balboa.
Yes. We went to Lake Balboa and he was standing and he didn't move. He was just standing there chasing after the ducks. And I'm like,
This is great.
this is great. Like
free. I don't have to pay for anything.
it's free. He has this big smile on his face. He thinks it's the best thing in the world. And it's just like, we need to kind of get back to them simpler days. We're trying to rush them too quick. Let them enjoy the simple stuff in life.
Don't get me wrong. Taylen has her share on that computer. Because let's be honest, it is convenient. If I got to make dinner, I know this child's going to be still. So let's just be honest. It's helpful, but yeah, it's important to make sure you incorporate
balance.
things
It's
outside.
balance.
It's all about balance.
I want to know two things. One thing is, when you think of who Jenece is, okay, I want to know who you think you are, who you know you are. Who are you? But then also, on the side note, I want to know who you are with Tay. Like, what defines your guys' relationship and your bond?
Okay. The first question was, who am I? I am a mother. When I think of myself, I just think nurturing. I do. I think nurturing, and I wear that so proud because it's my mom. And I, like, if I could be her, sure. Because I always thought my mom was the best. So I consider myself to be a very nurturing woman who will just always make sure you're good, always take care of you. I'm fun. I feel like I'm super adaptable. Like I can adapt to different things. I don't know. That's such a hard question. I don't know.
That's
it
such a
probably
hard
sounds
question.
silly, but
The nurturing
yeah, I think
is-
nurturing definitely is like probably one of the biggest things that would come up if I could think of who I am. But I just really just love. I do. I just love people. Just love people. That's kind of it. I just love people.
And then
Yeah.
your roll dog for life, Taylen.
Tay.
What is your guys' bond?
You know, Tay, so she can't, I always say, like, I wonder what she says, because Taylen is verbal. She can speak, but she suffers with conversation.
Yeah.
So I always say, if she could talk, I'm probably a helicopter mom. I'm probably a helicopter mom. Like, you know, her dad used to say, "Oh boy, here comes the fun police."
Uh-huh.
You know, I just want to make sure she's good, and I know I'm the disciplinarian. I discipline her. I'm learning to kind of let go and give her some freedom, but I feel like she would probably be like, "Oh, Mom, can we do?" You know, I'm always the one I need to make sure you're good before you have fun. So I'm definitely like the disciplinarian and making sure that she does everything that she needs. But we're goofballs though. Like her and I together, honestly. Now that I live by myself, I'm like, if someone had a record, like we make noises and do like the weirdest, like dumbest stuff. But we'll be just be cracking up on our own.
That's
in
a
our
girl.
own time. So we're really big goofballs.
Oh my
And we love to
gosh.
dance. We have dance parties like at least twice a day. in my
That's the way to
house.
get through life. You got to be joyful.
Yeah.
You got to be goofballs.
Yeah.
And I
joyful.
feel like, you know, going back to what we talked about earlier, as far as like, this is a for life thing with you and Tay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that relationship has to be solid.
It does.
I mean, and it has to be, you have to have that bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with no regrets, you know what I mean, later on in life, because who knows what, you know, the future holds. And to Taylen being able to have that comfort with her mom and that experience with her mom. I remember I used to work, you know, with Holly's Foundation, Autism, and RJ, it was the saddest thing is because people look at kids with special needs like they're not there, they don't have feelings or they don't have
But they're not
the
damn
emotions.
kids. Yeah.
And with autism, oftentimes they can't speak as well or as quickly as other kids. And he used to get his hair cut, right? And he hated the haircut. And he said at the time he couldn't explain it, but it felt like tiger claws or whatever on down his head. And he couldn't express that that's what it felt like, right? So imagine treating kids with special needs or being, if you're in a home as the mother or the ultimate or the number one caregiver and having just a negative energy of life, that they really are actually experiencing all of that. They just
Yeah.
can't communicate it in the
They
same
can't.
way.
Yeah.
And so how sad, right? And so it's so refreshing to hear your outtake on how you do caregive and how you look at it, so that it could be a reminder for moms, whether their kids are having special needs or not, that they feel and understand what's going on. And it really is up to us to create that atmosphere. You know what I mean? And that dynamic.
Yeah.
So I commend you on that. I think that's incredible.
Thanks.
1,000%.
Yeah, I think that's
I was
incredible.
going to add too, just to piggyback, not being able to express. That's why you see a lot of, you know, like growing up when you would see someone that had maybe Down syndrome or like some type of mental, you know, delay, like they would be acting out or falling out. But that's a huge behavior trigger. That's why they have tantrums and misbehave, because can you imagine thinking something and it can't come out of your mouth?
Nope.
The first thing is like, ugh.
You're trapped.
So, you know, Taylen, that's a big part of Taylen. Behavior is big for her because she's not able to say it. She's not able to express it. So,
Tell us about the foundation, where you can find, where
Okay.
we can find you, where moms can find you to build that community up.
okay.
Let us know.
Okay, so the Taylen Lauren Horton Foundation, www.taylenlaurenhortonfoundation.org. On there, you'll find everything. Taylen's story, how to support. There's merchandise on there. There's facts about Dravet syndrome for people just to get a better understanding of what Dravet syndrome is. Our goal is there. Our missions are there. And again, it's just important for me to represent and advocate for the moms.
Yeah.
I think the number one goal of the reason why I developed the foundation is obviously to bring awareness because it's rare, but also to just support emotionally with the parents.
Yep.
Like
Compassionate care.
we need something. Like we need an outlet. We need somewhere to go and someone to talk to, or I mean the goal is to do like why can't I think right now? Oh gosh, I can't even think right now, sorry.
Like a self-care situation.
No, the conferences. Conferences with different like therapy sessions just for parents and moms or dads or family members who are dealing. So there'll be like therapists there to do like fun things just to kind of unify us.
Yep.
That's one of my big goals that I
like that a lot. And I feel like focusing on parents and the caregivers, it really shows them we see you.
Yep.
Like no one sees you because you're always being the caregiver, but we see you. So that little just forming that community, even when you were saying like doing the baskets and dropping those off, like it's just those little things that I see you, we're in this together, I got you. I like that.
Yep. So yeah, it's just very important to me. I think, to be completely honest, being a first-time mom, and then, I mean, how stressful is that, just being a first-time mom? But then on top of it, you're in the hospital for the first 3 years of their life. You're dealing with seizures. You know, I'm surprised I'm not mentally disturbed by it all, to be completely honest, that I'm able to have a clear mind of thought and I'm not in a mental ward. I mean, to be honest, like, this is
you're strong.
You know why, right? What you said in the beginning, God chose
so
you.
It's tough. It's tough, and I'm learning my purpose.
Okay, so we'll end on this. What are tips that you can give new moms who may be having newly diagnosed daughter or son with special needs? And then also on the other end, especially since you mentioned the stress of others, the embarrassment that you felt being around others and them not really knowing what's going on, what tips can you give those around you when they see or they have someone in their life that has a mom with special needs, kids?
Okay, so the tip for moms that are new to becoming a special needs mom, never be afraid to ask your doctor questions. Nothing is too minimal that seems weird or off to you. Don't feel embarrassed about or ashamed to question your doctor. And if there's anything within your doctor where you feel like you're not getting an answer, you go home and you're like, oh, because I remember there being moments where I'm like, I wasn't satisfied with that answer, or it got to be something else. Keep asking. Keep looking around. I think, too, is Google for communities of, if your child was just fully diagnosed with autism, Google communities, Google outlets so that you're not alone, you're not isolated, you're not doing it on your own. Because people are out there and people are willing to help you. They really are. I think another tip would be to, I know I keep saying it, but literally take it one day at a time. I think for me, I was used to having like the blueprint of how things are going to go. But with a daughter or a child with special needs, you really can't do that because you don't know how it's going to end.
Nope.
So you really have to wake up every day, do the best you can, close it. The next morning, start fresh. So we're not carrying over anything, and we're not trying to predict what's going to happen next.
Yep, that's
I
great
think
insight.
also, too, is give yourself grace. You're going to mess up. You're not a doctor. I mean, I'm sure there are doctors with kids with special needs, but majority of people are not doctors. They don't know what they're doing. And give yourself grace if you make a mistake. It's okay. You didn't get it yesterday, but you'll get it today. And just take time for yourself, please. Find something, get your nails done, even if it's as simple as that. get your nails done, meditate, read. You know, I became a larger, I can't even speak. Don't
Life coach.
You sound like an idiot. But I've gained a lot more time in reading.
Yeah.
You know, finding that time to read.
Avid reader.
Avid reader. Like, why can't I talk? Yeah, take time for yourself and treat yourself. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah. Go ahead and buy those shoes.
You want them shoes you've been looking at, girl?
So those are some tips I would give for a first time mom. And then I think the second tip would be for, what was it when you're in
For others, like if you're in a situation, you're having a seizure on the floor, people are around, what are tips for those people? What are tips for your family members, how to support you better? Like just for those who are.
I think for a mom, for being in public, for an episode or something that happens with a special needs child, it's good to, hey, up front, let them know what's going on. You know, hey, my daughter has seizures, or hey, my son may have a meltdown or whatever. Let people who are you around know what it is. It's good to kind of like have them know already, because, I mean, you're human. You're gonna, you know, it's alarming. And you don't want to alarm. Just everyone stay calm. You don't want to alarm the place. So just be vocal. Let everyone know. Like sometimes when I'll go somewhere, or her dad, or Chuck E. Cheese used to be a thing where Taylen, she would not ever want to leave Chuck E. Cheese, and he would be he has said to like the manager, like, I'm a tall black man, this is my daughter, she may freak out leaving because she has a disability, so if you see me picking her up and carrying her out, please don't call the cops.
Sheesh.
She's my daughter, and this is just her trigger. So it's good to just let people know.
Yep.
The space that you're going to be in, let people know. As a mom. Also, too, as a mom, I really don't care about anyone else's life right now.
Right.
You know, you got to kind of take a moment and say, I don't really care what anyone thinks. I really don't care, because they're not walking in my shoes. And, you know, it doesn't matter what they think or say. Right. This is my daughter, and care for my daughter. And whatever the issue is, this is a part of her life.
Yep.
This is who she is. This isn't just this thing. This is a part of her life. Seizures is a part of Taylen's life. And just like people that have asthma, what do? It's a part of your life. You carry your pump.
Yep.
For Taylen, you carry your necessities that you need for her to have a seizure. So you kind of just take it as this is a part of life.
Right.
For people who are you know, on the outside, or people who don't have children with disabilities and they're in the vicinity of a person, just offer your help.
Yep.
I think the only tip I would say is just offer help, because I know it can be alarming, but even after it or whatever happens, go to them and be like, you good? You okay?
Yep.
Can I help you with anything? Is anything you need? Just offer your help.
Yep.
Like, don't just stand and stare, which I know sometimes it's hard because we're human, but just rub their back and just make sure that you've offered help. Is there anything that you can do, or before, during, or after?
Yep.
Hey,
And try to make it as normal as possible too. That's another thing I would say for people who don't know. Like, try to make the environment as normal as possible. Like, don't aid to it being
Uncomfortable.
Like,
Right.
just it's normal. You act normal. I act normal. It is normal.
I think too, we have a duty as mothers, for those of us raising kids that don't have special needs. Right. It goes to your point of, like, when you said I never was equipped with, I didn't have any special needs in my family. So oftentimes that could be a storyline for different families. And my boys play with Taylen and all that kind of stuff. And initially, what you realize is when they're babies, they don't even notice anything.
They don't.
No.
About Taylen, right?
Nope.
As kids get older, they start noticing, well, why is this? Why is this? Why is that? I think our duty as parents is to create that atmosphere of inclusivity and kindness and compassion and love, because it's easy for kids to get catty and bullyish and
not
something's
nice.
different there. And just because something's different doesn't mean it's bad or that they need to be ostracized. And so I always have told myself, like with my boys, that they'll never make someone feel uncomfortable in our space, that everybody, you know, in our situation, we're family. You know what I mean? And I haven't had to have this conversation with them. But if there were ever a time that that something came up, we have to raise good humans.
I think
you
you're
know what
really
I mean?
hitting. I think you're hitting a nail on the head for sure. Because it's also, I mean, you're gonna have your kids, of course, but it's really how you, as a mother and a father, are teaching your child to go out and treat other children in the world. Because we are all different. So if I can instill into my kids to be kind with your words, to be respectful of another human being, then I feel like the world will be a better place for people if we really are instilling more core values in our children.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thanks so much,
Thank you,
Jenece, for coming
Jenece.
on.
Thanks for having
Girl, you done
me.
taught me
This was
so much. My whole
great.
jaw was dropped the entire time.
There needs to be a
I'm
part
just
2 because
listening.
there's so much.
I was learning. I couldn't believe 35 seasons. I'm like, wait, hold on. I'm learning stuff for the first time as
Yeah.
well. So I love it. And we'll encourage everybody to support your foundation. Please let us know if
you.
anything
Yes.
comes up. We'll definitely
Yes.
promote it.
So I have
Yep.
so much in store for this year. I'm just like, I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm so excited about it. I know it's gonna be great.
It sure is. 2024.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
But thank you guys. Thank you.
Of course.
Of course.